The MMA world just witnessed something absolutely insane. While you were scrolling through social media last night, some of the sport's biggest names were tearing each other apart online, and what happened next has left fans completely divided. We're talking about feuds that could reshape entire divisions, career-ending callouts, and respect being thrown around in ways nobody saw coming. These aren't just random Twitter beefs. There's a pattern here that reveals exactly how the UFC's political game really works. And these conflicts mark a breaking point in the sport's battle between marketing power and fighting merit. By the end of this breakdown, you'll understand why some fighters get fast-tracked while legends get left behind, and how these current explosions might determine MMA's future. You're a nobody, a trash can at most. Those weren't just words thrown around in some petty social media spat. They were a calculated takedown of everything wrong with modern UFC matchmaking. Armin Tsarukyan just delivered the most savage response to Paddy Pimblett's title shot dreams, and it's got the lightweight division in complete chaos. Paddy casually mentioned on his YouTube channel that he's hoping to leapfrog Armin straight into title contention. No mention of earning it through legitimate opponents, no respect for the rankings. Just pure confidence that his hype train deserves express service to the top. But here's where Armin's response becomes devastating. He didn't just attack Paddy personally, he exposed the entire system. Daddy Dana fed you a couple of senior citizens to build your hype. That's all you are, hype. Every word was surgical precision, cutting through the manufactured narrative that's been building around Pimblett. Look at Paddy's UFC resume. Luigi Vendramini, Rodrigo Vargas, Jordan Levitt, Jared Gordon. Combined age when they fought Paddy, over 140 years old. Combined ranking, 0. The UFC has been feeding him carefully selected opponents designed to showcase his strengths while hiding his weaknesses. Armin sees right through this, and that's exactly why his callout was so DMN vicious. I earned everything in my career. Nothing was handed to me, you bum. Now sit your goofy ass down and wait until daddy tells you what to do. He's basically saying, Paddy isn't even making his own career decisions anymore. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Picture this. You're Charles Oliveira, former lightweight champion with wins over Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Tony Ferguson. You need a fight to stay relevant. Dan Hooker gets offered as your opponent for UFC Rio. He turns it down, citing a hand injury and timing issues. Now you're publicly calling out, not just Hooker, but the entire top of the lightweight division for avoiding you. This is where the story gets really interesting, because Oliveira's fury isn't really about Dan Hooker at all. During his recent interview with AG Fight, Oliveira aimed directly at the heart of what's broken in the ranking system. When former champions are struggling to book meaningful fights while protected prospects get red carpet treatment, something is fundamentally wrong with the sport's priorities. Dan Hooker probably made the smartest career move possible by declining this fight. Think about the risk-reward calculation. Traveling to Brazil to face a desperate former champion, coming off losses, in front of 20,000 screaming fans who want to see you lose. If you win, you beat a guy on his way down. If you lose, you're just another stepping stone in someone else's comeback story. This creates the exact problem that's driving Oliveira's rage. The incentive structure punishes taking tough fights and rewards strategic career management over sporting excellence. The smartest move for any contender is to avoid former champions and wait for easier paths to title shots. And that's when things took an even stranger turn. What happens when two of the most feared fighters in combat sports show genuine mutual admiration instead of manufactured beef? The Jon Jones and Khamzat Chimaev exchange reveals something fascinating about elite-level psychology that most fans completely miss. When asked about Chimaev's previous comments about beating him, Jones didn't fire back with typical fighter trash talk. Instead, he did something that has heavyweight contenders genuinely worried. He showed respect. That's a huge compliment coming from Khamzat. I'm a big fan of Khamzat. Jones responded with the confidence of someone who truly knows his place in the sport's hierarchy. But here's what makes this interaction so compelling. Chimaev had previously called Jones his all-time favorite MMA fighter and described him as the scariest fighter in the sport. For someone as confident as Chimaev to say that about anyone is remarkable. This is a guy who's been steamrolling opponents across multiple divisions, and he's still in awe of what Jones represents. The psychological warfare happening here is next level. When Jon Jones says, heavyweights fear him, and the fact that he has so much respect for me really means a lot. He's not just being humble. He's pointing out that the guy who strikes fear into heavyweight contenders still looks up to him. In a sport built on ego and intimidation, genuine respect between elite fighters is incredibly rare. When it happens, it usually means both guys recognize something special in each other that goes beyond normal competitive dynamics. What this reveals about the sport's future is jaw-dropping. These three situations aren't happening in isolation. They're symptoms of MMA's identity crisis playing out in real time. You've got Paddy representing the new model, young, charismatic, social media savvy, and carefully protected until he's ready for bigger stages. Armin represents the old-school path, grind through legitimate opponents, earn respect through performance. Let your skills do the talking. Charles Oliveira's frustration shows what happens to elite fighters who don't fit perfectly into the UFC's current narrative plans. Former champions find themselves struggling for relevance, while prospects get served opponents designed to build highlight reels. Meanwhile, Jon Jones operates on a level where these concerns don't really apply. When you're already considered the greatest of all time by most observers, you can afford to be gracious and focus purely on legacy rather than politics. But here's what's really game-changing about this moment. The internet is getting smarter about spotting manufactured hype versus genuine sporting achievement. Fans can see through padded records and strategic matchmaking. They're not afraid to call it out when their favorite fighters get overlooked for more marketable options. The memes flooding social media tell the real story. One viral post shows Paddy with a baby bottle labeled hand-picked opponents, while Armin climbs a mountain labeled legitimate contenders. Another shows Charles Oliveira texting, "Want to fight?" to a contact list of top lightweights, with all of them responding with various excuses. The Jones-Chimaev exchange has inspired its own category of content, mostly focused on the idea that these two monsters showing mutual respect is somehow scarier than them threatening each other. One popular image shows them shaking hands while everyone else in their divisions runs away in terror. What we're witnessing isn't just individual conflicts, it's MMA wrestling with its own soul. The sport that promised to find the best fighters in the world is now trying to balance that mission with creating the most entertaining product possible. The Paddy Armin situation exposes how marketing has started to override merit in ways that are creating real division among fighters and fans. The Oliveira Hooker drama reveals how the incentive structure punishes risk-taking and rewards strategic career management over competitive integrity. The Jones-Chimaev mutual respect stands as a reminder of what the sport can be when it's operating at its highest level, where skill and character matter more than manufactured storylines. These conflicts mark a breaking point in the UFC's battle between marketing power and fighting merit. The outcome of this behind-the-scenes battle will determine what MMA looks like for the next generation. Will we see more carefully crafted star-making machines like the Paddy Project? Will grinding veterans like Armin find ways to break through, despite not fitting the preferred marketing mold? Can former champions like Oliveira maintain relevance when their peak commercial appeal has passed? But here's the question that should keep every MMA fan awake at night. If the sport continues prioritizing entertainment value over competitive merit, will we still be watching the ultimate test of fighting skill, or just really good sports entertainment with real consequences? The way these current feuds play out might give us our answer.